All right, enough Cristiano. How about some quick hits instead?
Let's go, Gab.
Liverpool win away to Leeds United 3-0 as Mohamed Salah scores his 100th goal. Jules, I thought they looked really, really good.
I thought they looked great, Gab. Really, really good. I mean, I know we always say when you play against Leeds, because Leeds give you a lot of space, because they play so much, because they've got that kind of a high energy, that suits Liverpool for sure. But still, they could have won this game 6 or 7-0 easily. Okay, Leeds could have scored as well, but it was great going forwards. I thought Harvey, Elliott, and it's our next question, but up to the injury was great. I thought the front three was great. The way they link up play,
really
moved the ball so well. They were so good in midfield. I mean, Fabinho and Thiago haven't started many times in the Premier League in midfield together. I think 9 games. They have 8 wins and 1 draw because I think they complement each other so well that when you've got a Fabinho in that kind of form and Thiago in that kind of form in midfield, that helps a lot. So fantastic, and just can't wait for the next big games, and especially against Milan in the Champions League. And Gab, as I mentioned, unfortunately, that win was marred by the horrific injury to Harvey, Elliott. One so bad that we didn't even get to see the replays on television.
Yeah, just a quick word on that. I understand you don't want to see the replays, but given that the game was replayed or highlights were replayed later, and you could see it in real time, so anybody who could rewind could look at the replays anyway, which I did, and it is horrific. I feel terrible for the kid, just as he was reinventing himself in a new position, doing so well. We all wish him well. I do have to say, a lot of people came out and said it was unlucky. It certainly looked to me as if his foot, he is tackled from behind by Pascal Strike, who later got sent off. Yeah. But it looked to me like, he was hooking the ball around. It looked to me like his foot got caught. So it seems to me that it was more bad luck than malice in that one. Real Madrid come from behind to beat Celta Vigo 5-2 as your boy Karim Benzema scores a hat-trick. And Ancelotti mixes up the system.
That's right, Gab. It was more of a 4-4-2 really, because Eden Hazard played really centrally with Benzema, Vinicius wide on one side and Valverde kind of hybrid a bit on the other side. It worked well, but we've had this discussion before. We know that this is what Real Madrid are going to do this season, I think. They're going to be great going forward and defensively a bit fragile. And we saw that with Celta's first 2 goals. They could have conceded more goals as well. And I just wonder, I know we mentioned also before that they worked on defensive stuff and they also had a clean sheet, but I just wonder if this is your season there as a summary, really, where you're so good going forwards. And
I don't know. I kind of thought the goals were down to, again, the second one I thought was bad luck. The first one was another individual error, whether Casemiro, Nacho.
I know, but there's been a few of those.
The ball away. I'd like to focus on the positives and the Hazard's perspective. And how cool was Vinicius in slotting the ball home.
And Vinicius was fantastic.
Mr. Frenetic. Come on, man.
And it shows that you can play Vinicius and Hazard and not one or the other, which was a debate before too. So let's see if maybe that 4-4-2 has a bit of a future. Napoli beat Juventus 2-1 on Saturday, and it's just 1 point in 3 games now for Max Allegri. Gab, are we worried now?
I don't think it's worried. Okay, first of all, I got to say this. There's a whole group of superstitious Muppet Show types who say, oh, look, it's not a big deal because Max Allegri did 1 point after 3 games in 2015-16, and then they went on to win the league with 90-plus points and win 26 last 28 games. Yeah, that was then. This is now. I hate these comparisons of the past. Back then, they had Pogba and Vidal and Marquisio in midfield. They don't have those guys now. They have McKennie and Archer and Ramsey and Rabiot. Anyway, I think this game was marked by individual errors above all else. Moise Kean, horrendous error. Szczesny, not for the first time this season, horrendous individual error. They didn't play particularly well.
That's what worries
outside
me.
Of that. Equally, was it Juventus? Is it still Juventus out there when there's no Dybala, no Cuadrado, no Chiesa?
Missing.
I mean, I'm not concerned yet, but you have to acknowledge that this season they are in transition. It's the transition supposed to happen last year, and they're just still, and it's going to take a while. 300 million in losses. Come on, man. Bernardo Silva shines as Manchester City beat Leicester 1-0. Jules, we all had him leaving the club in the summer.
So did he.
And so did he,
and then he's still here. And maybe he's a bit surprised that Pep plays him so much, because now I think he's 2 in a row where he starts.
And I like seeing him starting in the middle of the park. I don't want to see him on the wing anymore. They have better wingers.
Great. And I think he's great. He's got so much energy, so much intelligence in the game. He can see where the ball is going to come. I just think he's so efficient in what he does in a game like this, and it was not all great for City, I thought, in that game, but certainly when he was involved, it was good. And let's see when everybody is fit, and he might
when
not
De
play
Bruyne
as
and
much.
Foden are back,
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
going back to the bench. And
Yeah,
I think on the
probably.
wing, he can't do what the others do because he doesn't have the acceleration and whatever
No,
else.
but on certain games where you will need his work ethic and the movement and everything, he could be useful there as well. But I'm just glad that Pep didn't go, okay, we wanted to sell you, you're still here, so I'm not going to play you.
I'll put you on the Nathan Ake plan.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Jose Mourinho takes charge of his 1,000th game as a manager, and Roma beat Sassuolo in the most dramatic way. And what about the celebration as well?
I mean, this was just unbelievable. It was a game where, I mean, the last 20 minutes of this game was just absolute roller coaster.
Crazy.
Sassuolo wiped the floor with them. Sassuolo, I'm not kidding. They could have scored 5 goals in this game. And then at the end, in full-on injury time, the Pharaoh, Stefan El Shaarawy, a tremendous goal. Jose Mourinho goes wild. He runs under the curva with the fans, does the whole Mourinho shtick. And then you think the game is over. And then Scamacca, with the last kick of the game, scores what would have been the equalizer, except for like a tiny offside. Tremendous goal from Scamacca. Great game. Like, they're firing on all cylinders. This is what Mourinho does well.
Exactly. And the substitutions as well. The coaching, El Shaarawy came on, Shomurodov came on, and they created that second goal.
Saul makes his debut for Chelsea and has a bit of a rough ride, but they still beat Aston Villa 3-0 as Romelu Lukaku scores 2.
Yeah, welcome to England, Saul, because I don't know if he thought it was going to be easier. I don't know if he expected that kind of debut, but that was not good enough. And I think Tuchel realized it and took him off.
It's a bad look when you get yanked at halftime in those circumstances with your team winning.
Yeah. It's not good, but Chelsea were not good either. Mendy was by far the best player, keeping them in that game for a lot of it. Lukaku is great, scored 2 goals, and the finishes are perfect. But I think Tuchel would be happy with the win, disappointing with the way they played, but I guess you take those games and you move on. Gigi Donnarumma makes his debut for my boys PSG, and Herrera is the hero as they beat Clermont 4-0, and Gigi doesn't have much to do.
Clermont foot.
Clermont foot is the foot name. Yeah, foot as in football, of course.
Yeah, I don't think he did much, but obviously everybody was, Di Maria, Neymar, Messi, Verratti, Paredes.
Navas.
The list goes on. Keylor Navas, which is why Donnarumma was playing. Yeah, look, I just want to see what happens, as these games come up, and if he only gets to play once in a while. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these two goes out unknown somewhere if there's an injury somewhere else. It's as simple as that. He was the best player at the Euro. Arsenal scored their first goal of the season as they beat Norwich 1-0. Jules, is this a turning point for Arteta?
It's a bit early for a turning point. Talk about turning point, but certainly they had to win this game, and they did it. They played okay at times. They finished the game strongly, to be fair. They created some good chances, and I think the expected goals is 2.5, something like that. So that was decent.
What more do you want?
No. And I thought they defended okay.
Wait, are you surprised when you have Tomiyasu, good defender, Ben White, good defender, Gabriel, not Chambers or Holding or the rest of these guys?
I'm not.
When you got good players in there, it gets a lot. And your boy Thomas was back too in midfield.
He came on, but and I think the sooner and the quicker they will get to their strongest 11, the better it will going to be for them. But now you go away to Burnley, then there's the Northern Derby. They're 2 huge games, but the relief after that win is huge for Arteta and the players and everybody.
He's got to get it done against Burnley too.
Wild game between Bayer Leverkusen and Borussia Dortmund on Saturday afternoon, Gab, with Erling Haaland getting an injury time winner. Were you not entertained?
You know what? The part of me that loves highlights and big names was entertained. I got to see Florian Wirtz, the teenage sensation. Rafael Guerrero's free kick. Yes. We had VAR controversy. We had Julien Brandt scoring against his old team. All that said, this was also an absolute car crash.
It was chaos.
If you play this weird diamond system, sometimes people have to come across and cover for the fullback. Every time they were exposed at the back defensively. This cannot be what Marco Rose wants.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.